Hello! In this video, we will provide some useful information about Rio de Janeiro neighbourhoods. In case of an international assignment, please bear in mind that your company may restrict the area you can live in, so not all areas described in this video will apply to you. Copacabana. You have probably heard of Copacabana, one of the most famous neighbourhoods in Rio, known as a postcard of the city. But if you're planning to live in Copacabana, some hints might be useful in your decision. Most buildings still have old structures, and you might find it strange not to have hot water on the kitchen sink, for example. Another common problem is that many buildings don't have a garage. However, that is not a problem for most people in Copacabana, since most things can be found in a walking distance, as supermarkets, drugstores, restaurants, bars, stores, bakeries, schools, and even hospitals. Copacabana also counts on 3 subway stations. The beach contours all the neighbourhood, so whichever street you decide to live in will be really close to the beach, and also to several options of leisure. Ipanema. If the first thing that crosses your mind is the girl from Ipanema, don't underestimate your impression, or diminish it as a cliché. There actually is something lost in time in Ipanema, which maintains a bossa nova atmosphere in the neighbourhood to nowadays. Even being a crowded young place full of art, bars, restaurants, stores, including expensive and worldwide designer brands, and clubs. A car is not really necessary in Ipanema, since most errands are walking distance and there are 2 subway stations in the neighbourhood. Buildings are divided between the traditional ones, with old structures and their limitations, and the new constructions, which are everywhere in Ipanema, substituting more and more the old houses and small buildings from the 40s and 50s. Since the square feet here is one of the most expensive in Rio, the apartments can be really expensive for no apparent reason. Leblon. Leblon is a traditional upper-class neighbourhood, chosen as a living place for many artists, politicians and wealthy people who look for status, comfort, facilities and tranquility. Prices can be really high when it comes to living in Leblon, even though the apartment itself does not justify the value. There are old buildings, but also many new and sophisticated options. The streets in Alto Leblon hold the most expensive and peaceful buildings and houses, while Bairro Leblon is a great option for those who like to be around people, restaurants, bars, cinemas, malls and stores. Many people who live here have a car, although you can find things in general within a walking distance, and there are 2 subway stations in the neighbourhood. Gavia. Very close to Leblon, Gavia is a calmer neighbourhood with many great buildings and modern flats. It's a peaceful place, but since there is a large university there, a great number of youngsters gather around in an area of bars called Bairro Gavia. The neighbourhood has a cosy mall, some bars and restaurants, good schools, and a very well-known hospital. A car might be of great use, since there is not a subway station and most things will be found outside Gavia. Jardim Botanico. Surrounded by the beautiful botanical garden, the breathtaking Parque Large, the Jockey Club and Lagoa Rodrigo de Freitas, Jardim Botanico is a traditional and very peaceful neighbourhood. Having a car is considerably necessary. There are no subway stations and things are not so close to each other, as well as a good amount of patience to deal with large traffic jams on a daily basis. Urca. There is a saying in Rio that the reason why it's so hard to find available places to move to in Urca is that once you get to live there, you never want to leave. This small peaceful neighbourhood is known for the beautiful cosy beaches and the famous Sugarloaf, and is ideal for people who have a car and who want to be far from the city rush. There are a few options of commerce and leisure in Urca, but it's close to Botafogo and Copacabana, and also not too far from downtown if you're driving. There are no subway stations in Urca, but there is a subway bus connected to the neighbourhood. The houses and buildings are often big, but usually not modern, and prices can be reasonably expensive. Barra da Tijuca. Different from the traditional neighbourhoods in Rio de Janeiro, Barra was built out of nothing and planned to supply with big and modern structures what progress could not fully find in the old Rio. Huge condominiums of buildings, houses provide space, comfort, facilities, safety, leisure and school options, privacy and luxury not too far from excellent schools, hospitals, several malls, bars, restaurants, clubs, cinemas, theatres, stores, and of course, the beach. As long as you have a car, and this is not a problem in Barra, you have it all available. Barra has a subway station, but the location does not cover most of the neighbourhood area. There is a connection made by BRT, but the buses are crowded most of the times. That's it! We hope this video was useful to you, and we wish you a good house hunting. And don't forget, our consultants will guide you during all processes. Simple city. Things can be easier for you.